Zoom is recording now. Hello, future viewers that are off of YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Good
All
job.
right, Zoom is preparing the stream. We'll be running it full. This meeting's being live streamed. Okay. And we are live.
Excellent.
So,
All
hey,
right.
how's everyone doing? We are here on Saturday, November 4th, 2023, with part 13 of our interview series with Tom Althouse. Good to have you here, Tom. And we are live here on the YouTube channel for
There it is.
Yissilmissil Productions.
All right. Let me copy your link.
I just
Share
sent
that.
the live stream link.
All right.
Just sent that
Sending.
over.
Excellent. Popping it up. Posting. Facebook. Posting.
Sweet.
And here we go. Off we go. Excellent. Sounds like my son's having a good time in the background. Okay, here we go, which is nice to hear always, after all he's been through. All right, very good.
Yeah. So, how's your past month been, Tom? I know a lot's happened, but just give everyone on the channel here just a brief rundown what's been going on with
Yeah, it's been
I guess sorry, let me
no.
rephrase this a little better. I mean, we it's been a month since we talked
Mm,
publicly here. We've talked a lot in between, but as far as the Immortals in the script and the people involved with controlling your case and everything, how has
mhm.
that developed over the past month?
Well, that's what the tactics have compiled by the different players. Like there's Sophia Stewart, there's Emma's group, Manchester Podcast. There's so many that are at interplay right now to try to derail the whole thing. And that's ever since the Chilton letter was exposed. When nothing was surfaced, that's when, of course, Kate Chilton of Warner Brothers resigned, the one who masterminded everything, including bringing in Elon Musk and the Wachowskis. She resigns. Sophia Stewart strikes the letter from her site, and we have an onset. And that was timed right on my son's birthday, the one that passed away, one of the ones that passed away. So that's what transpired, was this whole blast on that sensitive day. And that's usually how they do it, birthdays and things like that. Keep in mind, Mike Lang had sent the email to the honeypot wife on my birthday to call her to live with him, move in with him at his Mrs. Pad in Spokane, Washington. So birthdays are usually one of the main things they strike on. And in the past, there was a YouTuber, very small kind YouTuber. We say small kind in Hawaii, named Terry Joyce. And she really didn't have much of a following, maybe 400 people. But she had done 5 shows. And then she sent this text that on October 13, she was contacted by the FBI and then totally switched and started trashing. So this whole idea that there's 5 to 7 million to be made if Tom Althouse is stopped is taken off. And I think that's exactly what happened with Emma at Imagination Podcast. We did a show talking about that very thing. And then suddenly she's turned. We talked about the money, everything about what's being offered with Sophia Stewart. Then she turns. So yeah.
It's I mean, it sounds like it's something that's already happened in the past and with other hosts where you've had content removed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
personally, I'm all about keeping everything up uh, for as long as possible. People say the internet's forever, and for the most part, that's true. So, I mean, there's copies to still obtain. Like people have saved shows that you've been on. It's just
Mm-hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
that when people are interested in a topic, they collect their own folder of information.
Right.
I think it's a really healthy thing to do, and with the information and content that's being revealed through you, Tom, and others um, giving you a platform to do so, I think there's a responsibility that comes along with that. And I mean, I, yeah, yeah. So bearing in mind that these previous hosts that have had you on, they're aware of these birthday personal attacks, mental attacks, and I'm I'm struggling myself here trying to understand what is currently. I want to say it's a psyop that's going on. There's something larger at play here. What we've talked about on all these past shows, there's a dozen other shows that we've done. This is the 13th one.
Right.
I mean, you can go back, anybody can go back and watch those. Um, they're all intact on the YouTube channel still. I have a Rumble, I have BitChute, I have Odyssey. All of these are available on those platforms too, in case one is removed or not. Um, yeah, I'm disappointed with how everything's like been unfolding behind the scenes
Hmm.
with people who should be working together. But if
Right.
there's an outsider that recently inserts themselves into communities and then divides them, and if we so happen to be that next target, then that's the situation we're in, to speak very broadly about everything.
Right. Well, we see the shadow banning going on that's so intense. That's why it's so good that you have things that won't be struck, because in the future they'll be seen. Like right now, it'll be crickets. It's like they really do disrupt everything from phones to computers to you name it. And I've seen it where I've been on shows where the power went out on the host, on me, and other people that were watching elsewhere in the country. That's that intense, which shows how focused they are on this particular story and content
Yeah,
that they make.
and
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you,
No, it's
so
all
can
right.
you
Go
finish?
ahead.
Okay. Uh, I just see um these truths need to be out there for everybody to hear and also to digest and get your own opinion on the thing. Like you need to dig in more than just listening to everybody online. It includes here. It includes myself as a host. Don't simply rely on what I tell you. Do your research and gather information on your own, and um, hopefully your consensus somewhat aligns with mine, but I don't expect everybody's to fall 100% in with what I believe. But overall, with as long as I've talked with you here, Tom, it shocks me that there's still people that it appears like their intention is to hurt you and harm you, if even if it's just to stroke their own ego. And I mean, if it's all about getting views and getting that one-off interview with you where you do a crash course on things, like you you shouldn't be spending your time on shows like that. That's my opinion personally,
Mhm.
because you don't deserve to live through all these traumatic moments from your life over and over with new hosts that end up uh, turning on you later
Mhm.
on. And this has happened more than once,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's like this familial relationship here now after talking with you so long, Tom. It's like
Mhm.
someone's picking on my cousin or my brother. Like it's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Appreciate it.
my personal thoughts on it. I've kept my piece online. I haven't gone and posted stuff. But man, there's someone out there that really really wants your attention, Tom. And I think the majority of our circle here that we talk to on a somewhat regular basis has come to the consensus to not feed the
Right.
egos of the people here
Hmm.
that are trying to personally attack you. And so, yeah, targeting on birthdays, doing that last month, um, I say that was not cool. And that's me. I feel like I'm saying this to other hosts here.
Hmm.
Like, don't bring somebody on just to go pretend like you never had them on later on. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, and then ask for the followers too. Ask you to send all their followers their way, and then do it. It's like that's what I'm just. I said recently, the truth community. I'm like, both sides have been wrong. Both sides. It's like, and I keep seeing them marketing books and everything else, and it's like, and then they'll mock you about not having the numbers and things like this, and it's like, why would it be about numbers? It should be about truth out, actually just being genuine, showing evidence, allowing critical thinking. It's not about trying to be popular. And then
Yeah,
it's like a free for all, just making up any story you want in order to sound more impressive to market your book more. And that's not what it's about. It really is about helping the kids. And that's why that Family Guy episode that came recent, the recent one, just really laid it out. It's like the other side knows how ridiculous the truth movement has been,
yeah.
and
So
rightly
let
so.
me explain this to the audience here. So there's a recent Family Guy episode that touches several topics that relate to what's going on
Mm-hmm.
in the Twitter world
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say there's no coincidences here, so we're gonna have to look. I couldn't find that specific episode,
Okay.
but to kind of connect all of this together, Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan, I think just this past week.
Wow.
Um, I've been saying that Joe Rogan is one of those gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's Alex Jones was a host on Joe Rogan, or a guest on Joe Rogan's show.
Okay.
So I kind of throw them in the same court together, right? Well,
Sure.
with Elon, if Elon steps up and is starting to talk about um, Neuralink again, which I'm sure he covered on that show, but he's out in the public again on one of the highest profile gatekeeping shows that's out there, which is Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it was an accident that he was put onto the scene now.
Mm-hmm.
While I mean, with everything else that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
he's talking about Starlink. Oh, I'm giving free internet around the world. I just don't know. He's been rolled out, and
And
I
that
think that's kind of
hits.
a cherry on top. Like, hey, by the
Yeah.
way,
Well, he hit right when the opening was made by Imagination Podcast turning, when Emma turned and did all that stuff. And it's just like my sister. It's like she does that, and then Elon steps in. It's like it made a wake for him to step in and do what he had to do to re-engage the popularity for him being the claimant of
yeah,
Neuralink.
yeah, and I'd like to reiterate to the audience here right now that's with us live that I mean this involves Warner Brothers, this involves Disney,
Right.
this involves Elon Musk. There's a lot of this involves Steven Spielberg,
Right.
Keanu Reeves. The list goes on, but
Right.
that's the focus here, not somebody that has no name.
Mm-hmm.
We have some people that have no name and have no face that are trying to discredit Tom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how does one with no name and no face gain credibility? I'd really like to know.
Yeah. It
Is it
reminds me of
multiple
remember the
aliases?
remember the guy who had the bag on his head? And then he gets to, who is the guy with the bag on the head? He's going to be famous for removing and showing who he is. They had a guy like that recently too, that he revealed who he was, and suddenly no one wanted to watch anymore. It was all about, keeping that mystique going. And it's a tactic. It's a tactic to gain a following, and that's really what it is. And then the outlandish stories follow to try to ice that idea, put icing
Yeah,
on it.
I do think as like there's a balance here where you have good people within the industry that are coming forward and giving you information and firsthand experiences. They're calling
Mm-hmm.
you up and
Mm-hmm.
emailing you and saying or confirming your accounts. So
Right.
yes, that did happen. Like
Mm-hmm.
I witnessed it. Like you're having that stuff happen.
Right.
But while that's happening, I also think there's people that are within the industry that have a background as being a busboy, being a grip, uh, doing a lot of background work in the studios. And who knows, maybe they have been out of work for a while. They just had the writer's strike.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the SAG strike happened at the same time. So you're sitting around with all of this film equipment and then you're not using it. So what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of possibilities. A route
Right.
I wouldn't go is start dressing up as different characters and pretending I'm like a dozen people on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is me, Stephen Yisell. This is my channel, Yissilmissil Productions. This is
Mm-hmm.
Tom Althouse here
Mm-hmm.
with us live.
Mm-hmm.
You have our names and our faces.
Right. Nothing to hide. Right. And I look at, like, I think you pointed out too, this one character has top quality masks. These are like Hollywood's quality masks, top
Yeah.
line.
So to catch up the live audience here, there's there's a character on Twitter where their profile picture actually is what looks like a makeup studio with rubber or vinyl silicon masks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, I don't know, UFO alien related, but very sophisticated masks.
Mm-hmm.
I,
High
I
end.
I must point that out. A lot of thought went into this stuff. And that's why I say, like, if you're out of work for a while, all that stuff's just sitting around.
Right, right.
And if you
Yeah.
have no work coming in, you have all the time in the world to create multiple shows to run day in and day out. Especially if you have reliable income too. Besides that, like if you're doing stuff the wrong way too, I mean, you can easily make a comfortable flow of income. Like if you have no morals, you know.
And if you're doing it for the studios, which are the ones that are involved in this, or the CIA and the studios, then yeah, Disney, yeah, you would have access to these high-end materials, maybe even being lent to you, loaned to be used to stir up the trouble, especially when their high-level people are resigning, and we've got the evidence now to take them down legally. So that makes sense that they then would use their calling card of strike on the birthday, So yeah, so yeah, but it's going to be interesting because it's one of those things where you start out like this, where you had been exposed, they controlled the narrative, shut you down, and it's like crickets. And then you are on the scene again. They let you know, the other side, the context let you know that you are going to be on the scene again. So they're bracing and buckling for it, that it will be many, many people following what's going on. But right now, they're letting us know because we're in the quiet period where it's not going to, you're going to see a lot of shadow banning. You won't see anybody really looking. And their interactions are indicating there'll be a lot of people. They're actually saying you're going to be known all over this planet for what your story is, that you survived, and that they're fans of the work. That's what's so fascinating by this time. It's almost an enjoyable period right now where it's quiet. It's kind of quiet. And people know the story worldwide already from the first wave. And they're standing up and shutting down the main players that are trying to disrupt. And we don't
Yeah,
have to.
yeah.
They're
It's a
doing it. And I
really
appreciate them doing that. Yeah.
all you viewers that have been with us since the beginning and the new guys and girls that are tuning
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you all being here and you're helping us be accountable, but you can also attest to we've said and presented.
Hmm.
And it always helps when we do have the support to defend Tom here, especially when it does seem like a coordinated attack
Yeah,
from a small group of individuals too. So
that
uh,
are promised rewards,
yeah,
like Sophia Stewart.
yeah, yes. These there's many current bad actors and players,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we are slowly learning more information on it. But I mean, that's about all we can say. And that that we want peace. We don't want to be in this endless. I see some of this in these other groups on YouTube. They end up fighting each other, and then they all divide, and then there's five or six. Well, it used to be one community is now all
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
pieces. So,
Yeah, it's happening all
and
over the place.
I really wouldn't want that to happen here. I mean,
Well, there's no stopping it. When you got the tactic
if it's
being
gonna
used
happen, it
of,
will.
yeah, when people contact as a, when they're turned, like this Imagination podcast, you'll see an instant changing of having lauded you and lifted your story and 5 to 6 interviews and spread over time, just, overpraising almost, lifting, seeing the evidence, saying there's no doubt about it, to a sudden switch instantly, where you're not even involved in that switch, where they're going,
Yeah.
it's all lies, it's all lies, it's all lies. That shows they were approached. And then they approach
So
others, and get them to do the same thing. And that's part of the tactic. It's like that's how it's done. So we know the playbook. Yeah, we know how it's done. God bless those that stand up strong and say, look, we're going to look at evidence and we're not going to switch up like that. And that goes for everybody out there. They infiltrate
hey,
both
perfect
sides.
segue. So we have evidence of Will Smith and the Wachowskis meeting, and Will Smith's firsthand account of he pretty much
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
explains without saying it that the Wachowskis didn't have a script and they just wanted him to be wowed by the visual ideas that they had for the style
Mm-hmm.
that they were going to shoot the film in.
Mm-hmm.
So um, we can jump into sharing that
Let's
clip
do that. Let's go for it.
because it'll be a nice little change from, and
Because
then
that's
we'll
where,
get back
yeah,
to this whole thing here.
because that's what we were talking about. We were talking about how Will Smith wasn't shown a script. That's what insiders have told me. And that's the reason he turned it down. Because the Wachowskis were just talking wild about this thing without having anything to show him.
Okay, we are just going to start and stop playing with this.
Go ahead. Go
So,
ahead.
can you see Will Smith here?
Perfectly. Perfectly.
Okay.
All right, this is one of them stories I'm not proud of, but it's the truth.
All right, it's the truth.
All
And
right.
Will Smith is saying we have to like pause it like this at like every few seconds so that we get past the censors pretty much. But it's neither here nor there because this is going off of onto other channels besides YouTube anyway. So, all right, here we go. He says this is the truth.
I did turn down Neo.
Okay, so he confirms he turned down the role of Neo in the Matrix.
In the Matrix.
In the Matrix. I'm taking the words out. And that's the stuff that'll get us all copyrighted.
Hold up, y'all jumping to conclusions.
That was a crazy.
That's so wild because that's after my fiance left me. That's listed as Neo's birthday in the first graphic.
Wait, go say that again.
Otika Ball, now Otika Bernard,
Yeah.
is listed in the first graphic as her birthday as Neo's birthday, March 11th. And on the first graphic, that has my birthday, my dad's name, high school, all that in the Matrix interrogation scene. And so what's interesting is 1996 is when the Wachowskis are given my work to finally steal and starts fishing around with it, because that's right when Otika left me with the Disney guys pulling her away. So it broke me.
So
When I
that
was broken,
coordinates right. They
yeah,
were in the
that's when I was
process of trying
broken.
to cast this monstrosity.
When I went in the hospital after that, is when the Wachowskis were given the work and the green light to take it. That was 1995, 96, the end of 95, beginning of 96. so it lines up. The worst part of my life. But go ahead.
Hold up. Y'all jumping to conclusions.
That was a crazy time in my life. It was like, however I threw the ball, it was going in.
So I think also Will Smith was chosen to be this prominent actor in the Hollywood pool in the 90s. One of many. But they had, just like how they're showing on, they had their A-list team of actors that were pretty much being given the green light to everything that they want.
Highly groomed.
So I believe he is part of that, considering how his kids are right now.
Yeah, well, highly groomed. Yeah, so if you're highly groomed, you are picked by the cabal.
Yeah, this is
And they
interesting.
say-
It starts in '96 here with him as well. For the
Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
remember
Okay.
he's saying, right? He's talking about Fresh Prince,
Yes.
and that helped you recall everything with Otika just
That's crazy.
a moment ago. So, all right, let's we'll get through this. It's only 3 minutes.
Go ahead.
That the meat of it's near the end.
I had done Independence Day the year before. So I was like, I'm not doing another alien movie. I don't want to be the alien movie guy. So I turned down Men in Black. And Steven Spielberg called me.
Hey, Will, we need you to do Men in Black. Call me back. It's Steven Spielberg. Click.
Yeah.
That's what they're showing here.
Right.
He was producing. He said, why are you turning down the movie? I was like, I just don't want to be the alien guy. He said, do me a favor. Don't use your brain for this one.
Don't use your brain for this.
All right.
That's advice from Steven Spielberg. Don't
Yeah.
use your brain.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a t-shirt idea for something else. We'll talk about it later. I promise we'll talk about it. So this will be number 2. Shirt number 2 would be a face of Steven Spielberg, and it'll just say, "Don't use your brain."
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Cool.
Use my brain. He was so serious that I was like, all right, he did do Jaws. You just get in that universal energy.
You see how he's presenting himself here?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing can go wrong, and the other side comes.
He can't do wrong. It's kind of like how Keanu turned out.
And then you can't do nothing right.
So after we made Men in Black, the Wachowskis, they came in and it was like they had only done one movie. They did a movie, I think it was called Bound.
No trust garbage.
It's the same story
Mm-hmm.
with like everybody who encounters the Wachowskis has pretty much the same thing to say about them,
Yes.
which doesn't say much about them as people. But
No, not at all. Go ahead.
And they came in and they made a pitch for The Matrix.
all right, this is what I wanted to show.
And as it turns out, they're geniuses. But
Oh,
They're
God.
geniuses. Okay?
Seriously. Oh, my God.
there's a
Go ahead.
fine line in a pitch meeting between genius and what I experienced in the meeting.
Where's this going, Will?
Yeah, it's a coverall. Go ahead.
So this is the actual pitch that they made for The Matrix. So dude, we're thinking like imagine you're in a fight and then you're like, jump. Imagine if you could stop jumping in the middle of the jump.
Say that again.
But then people could see around you 360 while you're jumping, while you're stop jumping, right? And then we're gonna invent these cameras, and then people can see the whole jump while you stop in the middle of the jump. So I made Wild Wild West.
Wow. Wow. Does that not reveal? Yeah. No script. No script. If he'd seen a script, he would have done it. But the script he would have seen wouldn't have been theirs. because they don't have a script, and their attorneys say they don't have a script. Can you play that one more time? His part?
Absolutely.
Knowing that?
It does need to be stressed. Oh,
Because he does, he nails them. That's how they talk. That bound thing, right? We need to play that bound clip at some point here too, just to show
So
what he.
this is the actual pitch that they made for the Matrix. So dude, we're thinking like imagine you're in a fight and then you like jump. Imagine if you could stop jumping in the middle of the jump.
Say that again.
But then people could see around you 360 while you're jumping, while you're stop jumping, right? And then we're gonna invent these cameras, and then people can see the whole jump while you stop in the middle of the jump. So I made Wild Wild West.
Can you play that bound clip too, where they're talking? Because that matches exactly what he's saying. Do you have that lined up? The bound interview with Larry Wachowski. Bound interview.
I can get that going.
If you can pop that up, let's do a comparison and see if Will Smith, what he's talking about, how they talk. There was no script.
Real quickly, I want to say hi to the chat. We've got 12 people watching right now. But hey, Tim.
I didn't even
hey,
see that.
Maga S. Hey, AM.
How come I never see the chat? Hey.
Misty May.
Yay, guys. I didn't even know you're all there.
I have a separate window open of the.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Well, hi, everybody, because I didn't even know anybody was there. I thought it was just cricket time.
Oh, no. We got a dozen strong on here today.
You go, guys. Well, love y'all. Love y'all. Yeah, I want to see the bound thing compared so we can see exactly what Will Smith is talking about, what he heard, and that is the consistency for them. And if he had been shown a script, he would have taken it. But like I said, it would have been this script. It would have been that script. And that's what's so wild. Like I said, the attorneys for Warner Brothers are on tape saying there is no working drafts. There is no shooting scripts. How about that?
Yeah, that was very revealing to me when I saw that.
And on the deposition tape and transcript, you have the lead attorney for Warner Brothers telling me, Tom Althouse, given the fact you wrote the Matrix, wait, strike that. So it's like, I mean, God bless those here that get it, because we have kept the line of, he talks about the line of show evidence, and we're calling all other truthers, if they call themselves truthers, show your evidence. Don't say you're going to show it some time. Show your evidence. Then they'll come at me saying, you haven't shown your script. And here's a little treat for everybody. Go ahead and freeze frame this as it flips, and you'll see a lot of the pages going right by. It's all here. That wasn't obviously planned. But go ahead, show the clip.
Yeah. Tom hasn't shown like page by page everything in the script because he wants to have that at least something of the initial experience left when going through the story for the first time. Like I understand that whole thing, but there's key matchups that Tom always is open to share, and he has shared them on the show. And we've gone through several pages. I know you've sent me over 100 pages.
Yeah. Can I
we
attach?
Haven't shown everything.
Can I attach pages on the chat that anybody can take them?
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
arm our people, arm the guys that are smart. And also, the idea too is that Warner Brothers is trying to say, Joel Silver, Wachowski's Warner Brothers are all saying that they hope they use up the rest of the story. Right? They keep saying that. Yeah, if I show, and they say no one's going to want to watch it. So if I show all my pages, they'll be right. No one's going to watch it. But if we don't and let them have the experience that was intended, I think we have some kind of justice where people will get the experience without it being ruined.
Yeah, I mean, I really think enough times passed, the hype's died down for the Wachowski franchise and Warner Brothers. I mean, all of Hollywood, I really feels like it's on fire. It's burning. It's not looking good for them. I don't see them recovering with multiplexes anymore. Like, forget about a dozen theaters inside of a building. I really think we're going back down to like 2 or 3 or 1
Right.
theater.
Right.
And that really is the way it should be.
That's what Spielberg's afraid of that. So it's like, yeah, we are always saying, if we are wrong, we'll correct it.
Yeah.
You know, if we misspoke, we'll correct it. If we got a date off by a day, we'll correct it. If we use the wrong name, we'll correct it. If I said Marvel Comics when it's actually DC Comics, we'll correct it.
Yeah, we went down
You
to
know?
the details on a lot of things, including the copyright dates, which, I mean, if we were in a just court, your script is 2 months prior to the Tom Hanks one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which, why is Tom Hanks even trying to copyright pages from your work?
I know. And
it
then
would
claim
not hold up in a just court of law.
and
with
claim
the Ninth Circuit is the worst court.
is the worst. That's when they own
That's
and
the
control.
go-to. They want to throw stuff, they put it in the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah, and
Just to
it
sum
claims
up.
certificate of authorship. Tom Hanks claiming certificate of authorship with 3 pages at the time of the release of the Matrix, or right before it's released. It's
Yeah.
like, this is so ironclad. That's why this has been happening on my son's birthday. And I apologize to anybody that's gone caught up in the maelstrom. And God bless those that stood up, though. God bless. They're afraid of, especially ladies, standing up. I had said that on someone's podcast before they turned. That's something. Yeah. But can you show the bound clip?
Yeah, I have it queued up. We'll
Perfect. So we
now.
have Will Smith, recap, Will Smith saying they sound like that, turn the cap around, right? And like they're on drugs, right? Not making any sense at all. Cool, cool, cool. That's not a writer. They even admitted they failed as writers. Go ahead, play it.
All right, you seeing it?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's hear what Will Smith heard.
We don't think there's enough well-written female parts. Decided to write 2. Sort of where the story kind of started. Decided to make, film noir with the woman as the protagonist.
That's him explaining the movie Bound.
That's right. That's right.
The writer
yeah.
and co-director.
You know what he gave?
One more time. It's only 20 seconds.
You know what he gave for direction? Well, it goes on other clips, but he gave for direction to the actresses, just give me more gravy. Give me more gravy. Or no, give me more mustard. Give me more mustard. That's your direction?
You learned.
They're not. And then they get the excuse they're geniuses. They get the excuse they're geniuses because they claim they wrote this. But I, as an author and friend of those of us here, I'm tested as a genius. It's confirmed, and I don't say it out there for arrogance or to get attention. I'm saying it to back up the fact that, yeah, I wrote this. And yeah, it was taken.
It has sheet music on it.
It's verified by these people. It's got the PAU number. You look it up. And there's
and you have
Tom Hanks
copies.
and them. Yeah. And Tom Hanks is what? Claiming not the Matrix, because there is no Matrix.
No, he's claiming the Immortals.
The Immortals.
Of all things.
And Sophia Stewart steps in. Why is she brought in out of USC? Because she can claim now the Matrix title, because Warner Brothers admits they didn't copyright the Matrix title. They copyrighted the Immortals title. So she gets that empty gap. But did Sophia Stewart come up with a Matrix title? No. There's simply an opportunity to grab it as a paralegal because no one's claimed it as a trademark. See? Because Warner Brothers and Wachowskis are all claiming Immortals. And it's interesting that De Laurentiis is on the Immortals claim after being on the Assassins claim with the Wachowskis.
De Laurentiis is in the behind-the-scenes documentary for Matrix.
Of course. Of course.
I've gotten through the first hour of it. It was dreadful, but I did it.
Well, it's like...
I have clips we still need to show here.
We need the clips anyway, yeah. Hollywood wants to be caught. You know why they want to be caught? A lot of these players? Because they want to be attached to the winning team. You know what they're saying right now? We're the winning team. And how many people are on here with us right now?
We have 11 watching.
So 11 winning team members. Because you guys are the smart ones. Here. because they're supposed to be that no one's going to watch. But here's Hollywood saying, you guys are going to be all over the planet, and we want to be with you guys when you make it, and we'll turn out when you do. That's the inside. They already know this can't be stopped.
Yeah,
This is their moment they have right now. That's why they're having people try to turn other people away. So that's what's going on right now, is to try to stop that momentum, stop it. And that's why Elon Musk, like you said, is stepping up right now to reclaim after he was running. It went crickets for a while for him, didn't it? Because he was being caught with our evidence. And he didn't like it. Now, what's interesting is he has that gray character right before Emma's team struck, right before they struck on Sean's birthday, my son's birthday that died. They had that meme that was made by Elon Musk, where it's the gray face with the thing being inserted on the top, because he wanted to do it through the jack of the neck. He wanted to make it look different. Putting, Elon is evil. Why would I do this if Elon? He's using Gray's face, the guy that Emma's using to strike with. So it's very interesting that was coordinated.
Yeah,
right?
I'll give a quick explanation to the live viewers here. There's an anonymous, faceless individual on Twitter that has been, I guess, joined forces with other hosts that Tom has been a guest on their shows with, and it's like a coordinated attack on Tom, trying to say, like, really, it's kind of like, you didn't call me sir, so I'm gonna destroy your entire name and say everything you said is a lie because you didn't use my proper pronoun or something like that. It's that ridiculous in a nutshell.
And here's the masks, like you said, this high quality masks, and there's that character next to the other guy that's on with them.
All right, so we're gonna show something else here for you people watching. This is for you, but I have this side by side here, just like what Tom showed, but I look at body language, okay? And when I watch these two clips side by side, either these two people have like lived around each other their whole lives, or it's the same person. Okay, so get ready for this. You see the left hand?
Yes.
It's a double.
It's like it's pumping.
Double roll.
Yes.
Double roll.
There's a rhythm.
Double roll.
That is freaky.
So I'll play it again. That played 6 times through. Now this is one of many clips I have.
That's creepy. Oh,
this is the same person. To my eyes, this is the same person. So on the left side, you have this anonymous, faceless individual that goes by the name Gray Area Monarch on Twitter. This is all public, okay? On the right side, you also have a public figure that goes by the name Nathan Reynolds. Now, this Nathan Reynolds figure popped up in my feeds sometime in June. July, August, September, October, November, he's been talking about Jason, Jason, on the podcast he's been going on, which lately, the latest one is a pretty high, I consider it high profile, the SGT report.
Right.
Which is, that radio host is friends with Jeff Rentz. And if you're familiar with that name in the broadcasting world, that they're connected to a lot of other major radio hosts. But this guy doesn't pass my smell test. And when I see this, I say it's the same person because that's the way it looks to me. So that's all I'm going to say about that for now.
Well, that Gray character gave me a phone number to call him. And when I called, I heard that Nathan guy's voice. It's very distinct. And he's screaming and yelling at me. And I couldn't even have a conversation with him.
So, yeah, something else for the live audience here to understand. I played a clip of the SGT report over the phone to Tom that had Nathan speaking, but I didn't say it right away. I told him to just listen to this. He said that sounds like Gray.
Yeah, that was Gray's
because
voice, right?
Because Tom talked on the phone with Gray not too long ago, what, like a week ago or something?
He had me call him, and he has multiple phone accounts and also multiple accounts on Twitter and things like this. And isn't it interesting? They both claimed they're both promoted by Emma Catherine, who's just trashed us now, promoted by her highly off the charts.
So this was something else that stuck out to me as something not right, is that Tom was being harassed by multiple accounts, but the speech pattern, the language being used, the term coward was being used a lot. Nathan Reynolds also uses that in his interviews he does. He's done a few of them now since the summer. He also has a book he pushes, like Sophia Stewart. So I mean, he has it up for free too if you want to read it. I mean, probably has stuff in there, admissions of things, but I don't
see. It's like
he doesn't give names. He doesn't give like firsthand experiences. It's almost like he's talking as if he's a third perspective in a novella.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things when someone sells out. The job that the playbook of the cabal is this: you're supposed to contact other hosts, get them to drop their feeds, strike your channels, no contact again, unless you can make them fall. And it's interesting that the Emma party struck all our interviews the very night, and it's
so
like I was like,
wanna
what's
clear
going
this up,
on?
too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tom called me to have me confirm on my end that his interviews with Emma on the Imagination podcast were struck. I went and looked and searched for Tom Althouse on the Imagination podcast channel. It was gone. This was at 1 a.m. So 2 hours after that confirmation from me, Tom goes and says to everybody following him to not follow Emma anymore.
Well, then I'm not on there anymore. There's nothing to follow.
Because without explanation, all that time and work and I don't know what else to call it. Evidence was struck because
everything was gone.
You were giving exclusives to this channel that you didn't reveal for the first time anywhere else except for the channel.
That's right. And she was applauding him and everything else and saying it's definitely real. But Nathan didn't like it. Nathan didn't like it because he wanted to be what Emma now calls the Ubermensch, which is a real weird way to call people. And the first ever round table with Nathan and Gray together, whatever. But that could be the guy, anybody with a blurred screen and a mask on.
Yes, this is all public information. So there's a scheduled show now from Emma, which is unusual to have a guest on this soon, let alone two that have been on just a few weeks prior. She's going to have both of them on at the same time, but she doesn't go live. So unless you have Gray on one side, Nathan on the other, you're live streaming, and they both can talk to each other, then I'll say that they're two different people. Right. Okay? It's the same thing as I say about rockets going to space. You attach a camera on there, and you don't cut the feed, and you let me watch it from the ground to wherever it goes. And then we can talk more. Yeah. But until we have the technology to do so, but yeah, here I'm still waiting for evidence on that. Right. But the same thing goes with Nathan and Gray. Show me to have them together at the same time. But you know what is capable with makeup effects artists, especially with people with studios, it looks like in their own house, they could have anybody else put on that mask.
That's right.
And be like,
Biden on there.
And then they'll both be sitting together in the same frame.
Have Biden on there.
We'll be like, how much more evidence do you want?
Yeah.
But
that's the thing.
That I've been watching, I said Nathan sounds pontificating. it was very enticing to listen to some of his first interviews. He has a good lead in to what he wants to talk about, but then he doesn't talk about anything. He just starts
Right,
speaking, like I
right,
said,
or
in
reading scriptures.
platitudes, like like talking about the greater good, and then he starts talking about his ministry. What ministry?
Mm.
If he calls his visits to different shows as a guest his ministry, that's kind of weird. Like I don't hear Tom going and say like, "Follow my ministry on Twitter." Like that doesn't happen with Tom. Tom
No.
is pushing a book. Buy Matrix 17 now. Tom's not pushing any books. Tom's never
Mm-mm.
pushed a donation link for it, but he has them, and he's more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to, Tom,
No, I appreciate you saying that. It's like for
because
30
we're
days.
cut
Yeah.
off. We're
Yeah,
in
we're caught.
that,
Yeah.
like we're in that sea of debanking. We're like we're at some point not going to be allowed to have bank accounts, and really we shouldn't have them to begin with. We should have credit unions, but we're in that stage where we have like YouTube not monetizing. All these algorithms on these different video sites, they have their own agendas. Like they're looking for views. So whatever gets views, they're going to push that. But they also have us to keep their eyes on. I have so many, like, you look at my charts on YouTube analytics, there's so many times where it's just into the stratosphere for 1 hour and then just knocked back down to
Right.
zero the next.
I've
Like, they
seen
don't want
views
it
go
happening.
backwards. Views go backwards where you see it like so many views and then it's the
It's
next
just
is
like
like
backtrack,
drop.
like removed.
Yeah.
That happens
Like I was
too.
offering like 30 days. I gave it 30 days. People may have noticed that followed 30 days to have peace and asking peace, never a response because that's not what they want. And when you get approached and turned, like Emma did, they are supposed to play the victim. They're supposed to refuse all contact. They're supposed to trash you, and they're supposed to call their host and say, look, he's leveling me, he's doxing me, whatever that kind of whatever that word is.
Everyone, or the ones that are talking in the chat agree with us, and I'm thankful. Hey, thank you.
No, thank you
Misty
too. Can
May
you
and Tim?
Thank you. Can you show them the clip? Show them the clip that I came up with to show the car measurement.
Yeah, let's get into that one. So
I want to show everybody that, like, show what's up. Just if you can help, you can tell if someone's
let me
being
lead
fake
into this one, though.
and how it needs to be truth and evidence. It has to be evidence and truth, not just making claims. And so I think we should show that to give an example of what needs to be done in the truth community.
So I'll lead in here. So Nathan Reynolds went on the SGT report, which I am subscribed to. I've been subscribed to since at least 2017 when he was still on YouTube. Okay, he's not on there anymore because he got struck. All right, I followed a bunch of people that got struck off of YouTube about 6-7 years ago. This guy was one of them. High profile radio host, SGT report. His name's Sean. Does a lot of good content. He brings on some sketchy guests sometimes. It happens when you bring in a lot of guests. Some of them are going to not be that great. Some of them are going to turn out to be frauds. I suspect that Nathan Reynolds is a fraud. And you hear it right here.
Well,
he doesn't pass my sniff test.
Show my clip and then show him.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm speaking in particular now to part 2 of the SGT report. We're going to jump right into some of that. So let me get, so I screen recorded several clips here.
Well, show my clip first, so then you can go into what he says. I want to show me explain the distance and everything and what's going on, and then show what he says, because I want them to hear him say it, because it's so implausible, so unbelievable. If you start with mine first,
okay,
I want people to realize how implausible this is.
Yeah, let me get this prepped real quick.
Good.
So he starts going into a story.
Yeah.
About something that happened to him. But Tom here is going to explain how the numbers don't add up. So.
Yeah, I want to show it visually.
Give me 1 second because I had it muted.
Hey guys, Tom Althouse here. I am the one that claims, yes, I have the copyright. for the Matrix story, and the matchups, everything's shown there, where the inserted material, my bio information, high school, you name it, it's all there. I adhere to showing evidence so people can use critical thinking. So right now we've got a character named Nathan Reynolds. Nathan Reynolds, you may have known him. He sells linen shirts, or is a middleman for linen shirts being sold. Calls it the linen train. Anyway, what's interesting is he's made a claim on the SGT report, and we promised you a reveal, so here it is. In that claim, he says that he was hit by a speeding car, 70 miles an hour. Somehow he gauges speeds and everything, distances really well, even under trauma. 70 miles an hour, he's hit, right? And by a woman, he says, and he flies through the air 115 feet through the air and lands at the edge of a cliff, right? Okay, well, let's look at it there. So I have now mapped out, there's my car, there's the measuring tape, and we're gonna look at what 115 feet, 35 yards looks like, right there. So this distance right here, all the way to the car, is how far he tumbled through the air and landed at the edge of a cliff. What a hero. What a god among men. Emma, his girlfriend, even though he's married, says that he's an Ubermensch. An Ubermensch. You have to be an Ubermensch. You have to be sort of godlike. Of course, he claims to be the right hand of God, so I would say that would match. Oh, hail, all hail, Nathan Reynolds. Oh, show us the way, Nathan. And he also claims that working the dirt makes you rugged. Has a picture of himself posed like that. Working the dirt all over him. And also that it makes cowards into conquerors. Well, Nathan, let me tell you, I don't want to be a conqueror. I just want to tell the truth and reveal frauds and bring it out there for people to use critical thinking. And here I'm showing it right now, measured out here. And now, if you don't believe me, which I urge you to be skeptical, let's hear him say it himself on the SGT report. What were those guys thinking? Take it away, Nathan.
All right. So we are going to queue up Nathan sharing this experience here.
I warned him. I won't hold back.
Yeah, AM says that's a great point. What you just made about that. And the narcissist's behavior. And we got Big Island Beach in here. Aloha.
Aloha's right. Homeland.
And AM also said, I noticed Nathan takes over the presentations he is in. I saw him on Emma's podcast and did not even watch the whole interview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens.
I made the mistake of getting too much attention from Emma on her show, and he actually came into the feed or something complaining about it. So it was an ego thing for him. It was a male territory thing, like something back in the age of the dinosaurs, where he's competing for a mate. That's really what it came down to. Yeah. So it was like he was upset. He was upset. But go ahead.
Address them. So Tim in the chat asked who Nathan Reynolds is. So
go ahead.
My understanding is Nathan Reynolds is this new character that has emerged onto the scenes here on the internet. He has a documented history on his YouTube channel of going around to religious communities to divide them up and call out polygamy artists. But I think he's a polygamy artist himself. And with the stuff that I know, like the stuff that we're not all sharing right here, right now, kind of want to say that he's one of those polygamy artists that is hired to go around and disrupt movements. Okay. And right now, his current assignment is Tom and Twitter, among a few other people, probably. But Tom has been targeted by Gray, and also who I think is the same person as Nathan. Okay. I think they're both the same person. But we're going to listen to this Nathan share a personal account. And you tell me if you believe that this guy even believes what he's talking about.
Right. Keep the image of the car in mind. So we call out frauds.
Yeah. And I mean, for those that don't watch the Imagination podcast, you can check Nathan's show out still, but not Tom's. Tom's are all strict from the Imagination podcast. Because there was it's a coordinated attack. What else can I say?
That's why, I was asked to send my followers to her. She asked me to send followers to her, then struck it all. It's like, well, I'm not going to ask followers to follow it if there's no content there to see that I was there. So that's what my point was. Go ahead. Okay, here we go.
We are going to play this
115 feet,
Nathan.
35 yards. Can't believe it.
I got a job as like a executive chauffeur bodyguard for people that were wealthy and powerful back in Boulder, Colorado, and
Who?
took this family on their wedding night.
Who?
Two very powerful families were marrying their children together. This is
What two powerful families?
Oh, it doesn't
Wow.
matter. They're just powerful
families
families.
consolidate power, and they were joining up these two families through their son and their daughter, and
What are the son and daughter's names?
they hired me as their driver of this.
Hired you as a driver.
A
How'd
driver?
they contact you? Were
I
you
thought he
part of
worked-
a limousine service?
I thought he
don't
worked for the
understand.
CIA.
Already, this is a mountain of BS. Okay,
So they would hire a CIA assassin to be their chauffeur
that's what it sounds like. So
and
let's-
bodyguard, chauffeur and bodyguard. Well, the chauffeur's not going to be a very good bodyguard.
he's Jason Statham and Jason Bourne and John Wick
Oh,
everyone
well then
else.
okay,
and
okay.
Captain
Then,
America
He
and
looks like
everyone
it.
else and Iron Man. He's Elon Musk. He's Tom
oh my
Althouse.
God,
He's
yeah.
everybody under the sun.
He's an Ubermensch. Emma said Ubermensch in the round table coming up. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's
Let's hear
continue this nonsense here.
Limousine in order to take them up to their honeymoon, because you have to have the proof of consummation as part of this act. And so I was hired as their security to get them up there.
So he's also
Stop. What? He's gonna be the one that witnesses the consummation of the marriage?
he just admitted he was hired as the limousine driver, the personal protection as a bodyguard, and
Right.
as a witness to the marriage.
Wait,
Not-
he said consummated.
does
he's-
that mean like a
Go back. Consummate means he sees them actually have intercourse. It was done in
Oh.
the king's era, the time of royalty. They would have, even in the French court with Marie Antoinette, and Louis, they would have them come in to see them have sex and say, okay, we've witnessed this consummated. They did that in Game of Thrones.
Wow. Okay. Well, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so
You didn't miss it, but that's crazy. So he's gonna, oh
Now,
my
let's
God.
repeat this again. This is wild stuff.
I
Like,
can't believe I just heard that. Go on.
Yeah. All right. Let's go back a few seconds here.
These two families through their son and their daughter, and they hired me as their driver of this limousine in order to take them up to their honeymoon, because you have to have the proof of consummation as part of this act. And so I was hired as their security to get them up there. Well, on my way back from dropping them off, I pulled my vehicle over on the side of the road. And when I got out, a woman came off the side of the highway and hit me when I was standing next to the vehicle, and it launched me 35 yards. She was going 70 miles an hour at the time, and my body crumpled into the car and
Crumpled.
almost killed me. I tumbled over and over again into the side of the road and was stopped just before going over a cliff. And when she got out of the car, she was completely coherent and had this. I came to consciousness. and
Take your
all I thought
time.
Was
Take
I
your
just
time,
want to
Nathan.
hear what Jubilee has to say to me. That was my wife was pregnant with my daughter at the time. She was 7.5 months pregnant.
When all else fails, say I was thinking about my kids.
That's it. I mean, you know what just happened there? He says she got out of the car with a look. He's 35 freaking yards away.
We'll
Do you remember the distance from the car?
We
remember
will
that?
finish the clip. But he said 35 yards he was thrown.
115 feet, 105 feet.
Okay,
Mapped
so
out.
let's say he was
Mapped
hit.
out.
He doesn't even describe that he was rolling downhill that gave him that 100-foot hit that he took from a 70-mile-per-hour car. If you got hit by a 70-mile-per-hour car, you'd be
It's over. It's
you'd be
adios.
dead.
You're dead.
DEAD, dead.
You're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Not thrown 100 feet and then your body's crumpled and you get to the edge of a cliff. I told Tom this because we were talking about this off air. I said the only thing he left out were his fingers digging into the gravel as when one finger fell off and he had to hold on with the other four. Like,
Do you know that's in Lord of the Rings with Aragorn going over the side and they're all wondering, oh, we lost him. Oh my God, he shows up. And in Star Trek, where the young James Kirk steals the car and the police cop on the air cycle comes over and he stops out of the car, falls from the car. And that it's in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indiana Jones goes over and his father and the rest are going like, oh my God, I didn't even talk to him. Oh, Junior.
Yeah.
And he shows up. He's doing these cliche scenes that Spielberg uses and others. He's doing the cliche scene for himself to be a hero.
He said, Tom and I had said that this guy could probably describe the boulder scene in Indiana Jones on a podcast. It would sound the same like this, where he'd be like, and I dropped my hat, and I just thought about how my daughter gave me that hat, and I had to go, my arm be damned, I am going to save that hat.
Yeah. Can you imagine him talking to his wife for that very day? Let's go back to the beginning of that day. Hey, honey. Hey, okay, I got to go be a chauffeur and bodyguard for two powerful families. Who are they, honey? Can't tell you. And there's the man and the girl are going to get married. Who are they? Can't tell you. Can't tell you. Don't ask. And then I'm going to watch them consummate the marriage. But before I consummate or after, I'm going to stand by the car. And I don't know why, but I have to consummate. But it's just, oh my God, this guy, I'm pissed at this guy. And Emma, I'm pissed at Emma for lifting this guy and praising him to death. And Ubermensch show coming up, Roundtable.
Okay, I'll say this much with this guy. He looks to other hosts, like he appears to other hosts like a big, juicy steak. Oh, assassin. With every story in the book you could ever think of over the past 30 years. Right. I actually compared this guy to the T-1000 or whatever, the Liquid Terminator from the second film. This is that new model of people going to F with other people.
Yeah.
The first model, the Arnold version, that's Sophia Stewart.
Yeah.
Sophia Stewart's that first gen Terminator.
Right.
I'm the one that wrote The Matrix. Where is she now? She's snorting coke and showing her boobs everywhere. And then there's this guy that just popped up this summer for me.
Where's his wounds? Where's his scars? If you were
this guy says on the show, yeah, he says he killed people. On the show, he admits. I have a few other clips. Just give me a second.
Well, what else did he say? Like, I'm interested when he switches up. Like, he switches from saying she gets out of the car, which is always going to be a very important part of the story, and suddenly drops it because he realizes maybe it's not going to work as a lie.
Yeah, this was the main clip that we needed to discuss today.
Go ahead.
It's only 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
A minute in, so we got 4 left.
Can you rewind just a little bit? I want to see him switch up again. Can you rewind just a little bit?
Yeah, we're listening to his account of what happened to him.
Allegedly. Play it straight through. We won't interrupt it.
Okay.
Play it straight from the beginning. Play it straight through. Now that we've seen the car, we saw the distance, right? Everyone saw the distance of that car length.
I'd like just pay attention to the details he's giving. Try to find some details.
You can comment as it goes. I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
All right.
I got a job as like a executive chauffeur bodyguard for people that were wealthy and powerful back in Boulder, Colorado, and took this family on their wedding night. 2 very powerful families were marrying their children together. This is still how families consolidate power, and they were joining up these 2 families through their son and their daughter, and they hired me as their driver of this limousine in order to take them up to their honeymoon, because you have to have the proof of consummation as part of this act. And so I was hired as their security to get them up there. Well, on my way back from dropping them off, I pulled my vehicle over on the side of the road, and when I got out, a woman came off the side of the highway and hit me when I was standing next to the vehicle, and it launched me 35 yards. She was going 70 miles an hour at the time, and my body crumpled into the car and almost killed me. I tumbled over and over again into the side of the road and was stopped just before going over a cliff.
Into the side of the
and when
road?
She got out of the car, she was completely coherent and had this.
I'm pausing it because it's my show. He just said that he got crumpled into the side of the car and then crumpled down the road.
Yeah, and on a cliff.
Which is it?
On the side of a cliff. So the car must be hanging off the cliff, and he got crumpled. And first he says it hit he was going to go with car. He's going to make it up, say car, but he decided that's not going to work. He hit
Steven Spielberg sitting in his director's chair, like on the other side of the road. Is the DP hanging off the cliff from a rope with the camera? Like, Are
Do you
we
notice
witnessing a movie scene? Because it sounds like he's just describing a movie scene.
look at the X on his mirror. See the X?
Oh yeah. Well, that's
And then
what it looks like a blackened out.
it's an X. It's just an
It's a Saint,
X.
isn't that the Saint Joseph cross flag?
I don't
I'm
know if it's
probably
just an
wrong on it.
X. I don't think that's X marks the spot. Anyway, go ahead.
He probably grabbed it because it said an X. Okay, I
ahead.
just stopped it because he says two different things here.
Absolutely. I'm
We'll
worried
talk about
the
the
car.
X more. This guy
Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
just has a fascination with old military stuff.
At the time, and my body crumpled into the car and almost killed me. I tumbled over and over again into the side of the road, and with
So his body crumpled into the car, and then he tumbled over and over along the side of the road until he came to the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
Did I hear that
guess so.
right?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Go ahead. Keep going.
stopped just before going over a cliff.
He stopped just so yeah, he did just
So it
leave
crumpled
out the,
into the car, which means you stopped.
help me.
But then he somehow gained more tumbling to the
I'm
edge
not
of a
trying
cliff.
to mock this guy either. I'm just saying this doesn't sound real to me.
When you go
And
back and look at the
nobody's
distance,
challenging him. This other thing is nobody's challenged him. I've challenged Tom plenty of times. I like asking questions. This dude will not. This Nathan dude will not answer a single thing you ask him. Ask him his mother's name. He won't remember probably.
Go
Or he'll
ahead.
say he doesn't know his parents because of the MI whatever BS. All right, so we'll continue this clip here now. But I just wanted to point out he said two different things happened. Maybe it was
Yeah.
sequentially.
If you crumpled into a car, you're not going to keep on going to the edge of a cliff.
No.
Your journey has stopped if you crumpled into a car. He just decided to tag it on. Go ahead.
He should have just said like the car flew 100 feet after he hit it because he's Superman.
Right.
Hmm.
That would be
Okay.
good. Go
And when
ahead.
she got out of the car, she was completely coherent and had this. I came to consciousness, and all I thought was,
He tried to describe. Yeah, he tried to describe this woman that came out of a car.
It wasn't going to work. He realized it wasn't going to work.
He was trying to describe this character that he's talking about. After he got hit, you'd remember that this woman came out of a car. He's trying to describe the way she was walking towards him, and then he switches over to what he was thinking about.
It's worse. It's worse. Now follow me here. It's worse. He's claiming he's completely coherent. He crumbled into the car, almost killed him. He's continuing the scene where the woman gets out and she's completely coherent. She's looking at him. That means he wasn't passed out. See, then he's trying to switch the story up to like, I came to. No, you just described that you were not blacked out. You're watching the girl lady come out completely coherent, after judging 70 miles an hour and everything else. And you're saying that you're seeing this whole thing unfold. Then he realized, watch the long pause. He does this long pause because he realizes it's a liar going, this isn't going to hold up. It's not going to hold up. He's processing through what he said so far. That's what liars do. They're going to review what they said. Does it make sense? Does it stick? I need to change this now because it's not going to hold water. My lie's not going to work. So he switches to a safety net.
I just want to mention, thank you to the chat and you guys watching, AM and Misty May and Holy Water. But yeah, we're here to give you like what we're experiencing, we're telling you.
Right. We're looking at a public figure.
Yeah.
A public figure that's telling information that is just so far gone, that is profiting off of the innocent, and is with a woman who is trying to destroy all the hard work we've done for profit, while they're marketing their book heavily and have this Ubermensch thing, which is really an interesting thing.
Multiple. So
yeah.
I have a firsthand account of seeing previous hosts of Tom has been a guest on other shows. These hosts are going around to other current hosts and trying to get them to pull the plug too. And
strike all material.
That is dirty. That is
That's the
very
plan
dirty.
right now. That's the plan right now. And they do it on the son's birthday that was killed so they can get the most dramatic effect. Because the deal is this. I was actually on this Nathan's Emma's program
We'll get back to this
where,
clip.
yeah, in a clip in a moment. But what was happening was I was on the program talking about the Kate Chilton letter, where there was a payoff letter from Kate Chilton from Warner Brothers exec to Sophia Stewart, who was handling me at the time, Kate Chilton and Sophia Stewart, promising $5 to $7 million if Tom would basically off himself, if they get him so much in despair that he would end up killing himself. And so this letter was revealed, and Kate Chilton resigned immediately from her judgeship, and Sophia Stewart struck her from her site. I explained this on Emma's podcast, Imagination Podcast, the last interview we did. I explained it in detail about the reward that Sophia Stewart was promised, $5 to $7 million, if this would happen. Suddenly, Emma strikes all the content and strikes on the birthday with her guys and tries to get the same reward. Cover the tracks by removing the evidence, strike the content. Her job then, by selling out, is to contact other hosts to get them strike content and not to make peace, even though I offered through 30 days to do it. This is an old game being played. Cash in. They smelled the gold. They saw the reward. She couldn't handle it. She wanted it. How do we know? She's marketing the books with Nathan.
I'm going to try to find the specific clip
so that's what's going on.
Like for next show, for
Okay.
in 4 weeks. So the first Saturday of every month.
But that's what's going on. They see dollar signs, dollar signs, dollar signs. See,
I know I watched Nathan say on a different show about a tactic of just waiting for people to die.
Yeah, that's what's going on right now. That's why they struck on Sean's
set
birthday.
Up the red flags went off for
that's why they struck on Sean's birthday and wouldn't offer peace. And if you look at my messages to Emma, it's like, let's just talk and make this. Let's just talk. Let's make this right. We can solve this problem. Emma became an enabler. She's an enabler for Gray to do what he does, and Nathan to do what he does. Keep in mind that Nathan Gray is the Marvel Comics hero who comes back as Christ from Marvel Comics, owned by Disney, works for the CIA. We have a guy claiming to be a CIA assassin under Nathan and Gray. And he thinks, well, my contacts tell me he thinks Disney's going to give him his real life story once I'm gone. That he'll be the real life Nathan Gray hero of Marvel Comics and Disney fame. And he'll make a fortune. And Emma's going to be with him when he does that. That's what's going on. A fantasy gone wild. And when you watch that clip about the 100 feet, 105 feet, 35 yards, thrown, all that stuff, that BS story, I'm calling it, you get an idea this guy will do anything, say anything, just be shown the money. That's my call. That's what I'm going to say. Anyway, thanks for doing that, Stephen.
Yeah, no,
anybody else,
I'm here to host and have you give your account of what's going on.
Yeah, I got insiders and everything.
I have no intention, and it's not going to happen unless YouTube decides to do it or the other platforms that I'm on does it. But I'm keeping everything up. Everything we broadcast has remained up. Thankfully,
you
on YouTube.
Yeah. So that's the other tactic.
They don't like, but
the other tactic being used now is this Emma character is now saying to people, I struck the content after he told people not to follow me. No, the only reason I would tell people not to follow her is because she struck the content.
Yeah, and I wanted to make that clear as well, that I said, like, I was called by you, Tom, to confirm that her interviews that she did with you were no longer on her channel.
Before I
searched it out. The links say it's private now.
Right.
The direct links that were given out on Twitter, they're still accessible, but it says that a choice was made on YouTube Studio. They went into the public tab, and it says unlisted and then private. She clicked it to go down to the bottom of the list to be private.
Plus she said to rub it in the salt in the wound. She got on her site and announced, I have finally uploaded my entire library. It's all there when it's struck, when these are struck. That's a nasty thing because we're talking about creating the library of evidence. So it all adds up. It's all supposed to create despair. And then if I'm offed, she gets $5 to $7 million from Kate Chilton. Explained in detail to her on the last program we did. That's what's so amazing. And
These
Nathan wants to
people,
cash in.
yeah, they don't understand what they're doing. They're
When you get
thinking very
greedy.
selfishly. I mean, if this really isn't in a term of like, oh, I'm so upset with the way he tweeted to me. We're right back to 2016 Orange Man bad
Yeah.
tactics. Come on.
Well,
Are we
let's
still
talk.
stuck with first this gray guy goes and starts cussing you out publicly after he's like, okay, I've spent enough time being nice. You coward, blah, 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 and he says all these mean things. So that happens, and
And
then
on the phone.
yeah, he calls you on the phone too.
On the phone, yeah. And that's what I heard Nathan's voice on the phone. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, that was Nathan has a very distinct voice. And that's what was yelling at me on the phone, unless Gray and him are brothers. That voice was what was screaming at me on the phone. Because it stood out to me.
I'll reiterate this point.
Yeah. But
This
that's
gray character, this
Mhm.
person wearing a mask on Twitter that has not revealed his face or his name, if he wants to continue interacting with us here, you need to reveal yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Show us.
I don't know what pleasure you get from hiding. Like, look at our names on the screen here. You see both our names. You see both our faces. Tom and I are here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I want to say Nathan is behind the Gray character, but then again,
We're going to keep exploring. We'll
Gray
keep
has
exploring.
admitted to being multiple Twitter handles
Right.
that have been trying to harass Tom, and Tom's not giving them any attention, and it's killing them.
What's killing me too is the Family Guy episode 22. I'm sorry, season 22, episode 3 that just came out. Family Guy, October of this year. And in it, it sets up the whole thing before they strike. It lays it out. And that was just amazing to have that intel there before us. That Disney, Family Guy, all those guys, the studios, Fox, that they laid this out for us. And in it, like, let me just lay it out real quick. In it, they talk about Peter is going to the food store to get a job, and his family's concerned about seeing him there. I was going to go get a thing at HEB, go apply for a job there, since I was getting struck, all my jobs struck and everything by these people like Emma, characters that get sold out, that I was going to get a low-level job, just dig ditches if I had to, and it was going to be a food store. And when this concern was expressed, they put it there. Now, next, following on that same episode, they show a female podcaster. She has buck teeth, dark hair, over makeup, running up to Brian and his friend, Joe, who are about to unleash a cold case fact reveal at a storage area. And they go, oh, here comes that female podcaster who profits off of survivors' stories.
Yeah,
like,
that's such
wow.
a specific thing.
Then you have, right after that, Peter's at the news studio. It's almost like completely eclectic series or a part episode. And you have Peter at the news station telling the producer, should we just get rid of that guy? We don't know who it is. And the producer, we hear him say something like this. Well, look, he's got the long hair and the beard, and he doesn't know at all what he's talking about, but he comes across like an authority on the air. So we'll go ahead and keep him. What did we just watch? Next, it cuts to the end where Peter is flying in a helicopter, which is a Disney head, or Mickey Mouse head. And Peter flies in the helicopter and he's flying away, and then he turns to us and goes, see, it's good to have synergy with Disney. Now, what's been going on is I've been talking about having Disney make the right decision, since Bob Iger had said he was going to talk to me before he's fired, and that we could work it out to make it for the benefit of all, right? And therefore, we have this thing where a very strong clue, look, these guys are fakes. They're not considered reliable in the industry. They are wannabes, claiming to be CIA operatives and things like this. So Disney's pointing it out with Fox to the guy that they're fans of the story of, where they believe it's going to take off worldwide now, that Emma and Nathan are frauds. They're just profiting off of. They also put in this. They say, well, it's always about, isn't it about saving the children? My phrase I always say. So all that was packed into that one episode in October when they struck in October.
I have a
It was like,
challenge for Emma and Nathan.
it was a warning that they were frauds coming my way.
Demonetize your channels.
Exactly what they did. And they struck on the birthday of Sean. So I'm being warned by the inside.
Yeah, directed attacks. Not cool.
CIA operatives are contacting me because they're fans of the work, wanting to see good done now. There are ones doing that. They're the best ones that can't be caught. And they're warning me about Emma and Nathan as being wannabes. Nathan was not CIA operative, was not an assassin. What's more concerning should be that he wants to be known as that he wants to be known that he killed people, that he wants to be. That's more scary than an actual CIA assassin.
I watched this guy and I want to believe him, but I can't because what I just don't. I have that gut feeling that it's just something's not right about Nathan Reynolds. And
35
he's
yards.
not being truthful.
If you're hit
people, you look in this guy's eyes.
Nothing there.
Here, you tell me if this dude has killed somebody. I mean, maybe in some of these shots.
He may have had his diapers changed by his mom. He may have been living in his mom's basement. He may have called up his friends to play a video game, but this guy has not been a CIA assassin. No, it's not there. It's not there.
There'd be layers have the eyes of a killer.
Not at all. He has the eyes of a wannabe. His eyes say, love me, love me, love me. That's what they say. He needs the attention of the ladies. And that's exactly why I was struck also from Emma's site.
I have to ask you, Tom. So I've had this happen to me. But have you been hit on by men in this industry trying to get you to go to the other side with all this stuff? And like
mainly they throw women my way. It's always like
they know your
women.
preference.
Yeah, so they'll throw women.
What you want, okay.
Yeah.
But they haven't tried to like change your taste in any way?
I've had guys call me in this saying like, come on, all men are gay. All men, they try to push the gay thing when it works for them. They'll use any card they can play. And then they'll try, but mainly they throw women my way that are almost like you're casting a show.
Yeah, and that's all you've ever shared. So, but I just wanted to confirm that. So
yeah,
because I know it's been used as a tactic before with Dave Chappelle and a few other people.
Right.
But yeah, we can finish watching this clip. But
okay, we'll wrap it with
the
that.
audience needs to see the way he presents his information is what I find suspect.
And let's open up to any questions too. Let's open after that to any questions that just gonna say
absolutely.
any questions. Go ahead, fire away.
I will check the chat real quick here.
But go ahead and show the clip, and then we'll answer any questions. Because this is amazing that they went this far out.
We will get to the questions in the chat after this clip. So we're going to try to let this play through to the rest of it.
It's painful.
We're going over a cliff. And when she got out of the car, she was completely coherent and had this. I came to consciousness, and all I thought was, I just want to hear what Jubilee has to say to me. That was, my wife was pregnant with my daughter at the time. She was 7.5 months pregnant.
What the hell was that?
We were living on a property in El Dorado Springs, Colorado, El Dorado Canyon. And
yeah, this was that transition of thought.
That's covered my lie.
He went from trying to describe this woman to then saying he was thinking about his daughter.
So what happened is that pause is him reviewing his testimony.
And he's like, not good enough. Different topic now.
He's revealing it doesn't work, and he's on a lost thread. He's going to change it up. He's going to get off it.
Very obvious.
Very obvious.
I will continue letting it play,
ahead.
but I reversed a little.
7.5 months pregnant. We were living on I thought, side of the road and was stopped just before going over a cliff. And when she got out of the car, she was completely coherent and had this
look on her face. I
came to consciousness, and all I thought was, I just want to hear what
He's
Jubilee
panicking.
has to say to me. That was my wife was pregnant with my daughter at the time. She was 7 and
Stop
a half
one more
months
time,
pregnant.
Steve. Stop one
You're
more time.
living on
Sorry,
a-
I gotta do it.
Yeah,
I want to
go
point
ahead.
something out real quick. This is such a crucial moment. Watch his eyes when he, accessing
He messed up.
memory.
Yeah, when he
2
forgot
points.
his line. So
Yeah.
Tom,
Well,
let's readdress this really quick. Both you and I have worked with actors, correct? We've directed actors.
yeah, I've coached and directed. Yeah.
I look at this guy when he does this, he gets caught in this moment.
Watch his eyes.
He's forgotten his line here.
Yeah. Well, no, what he's doing too is he's re-accessing everything to see if it makes sense. He's like accessing the shit. Watch the eyes go back and forth, back and forth. He's accessing, going, this is gonna wash, it's not gonna work. So he has to change the tactic, change the story.
It was a very distinct pause. This whole thing right
Yeah.
here.
Watch his eyes,
Like,
and we'll move on.
you know what?
Watch his eyes.
Screw it.
Yeah. It's not gonna work. Start over, do a new one, they'll forget. Go ahead. Okay,
I'll
that's
play
fine. I
with
just
the
want to point
audio.
that out. As a director, as an actor, as a performer, as a award-winning performer, I know how to spot what's going on in an actor's person's head.
Yeah, and we're not doing this to be mean.
Not at all.
This guy is now a public figure,
Oh,
and
so sad.
we're just breaking down his appearances and his explanation of things, which I don't see adding up.
I came to consciousness, and all I thought was, I just want to hear what Jubilee has to say to me. That was my wife was pregnant with my daughter at the time. She was 7 and a half months pregnant.
Even that right there, my
Guys.
wife, who was pregnant with my daughter, who? You don't know the names of your wife and child, your firstborn daughter or secondborn? I don't even know. This was recent too. He's saying like 4 years ago.
Well, he says the daughter's name. He doesn't say his wife's name. But go ahead.
Jubilee.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But just constant red flags of situation
telling
and
you.
generic person with a job title and location and something that happened to him that caused him to move a distance. Like that's
This is
all I got.
painful. It really is painful.
You're
Go
living
ahead.
on a property in El Dorado Springs, Colorado, El Dorado Canyon, and
Is it El Dorado Springs or El Dorado Canyon? Again, he said two different things here. But let's keep on going. It just is constant tripping over words with this guy.
I didn't want my
rattled.
wife to have to wake up to that phone call that I was dead on the side of the road from a automotive accident.
That I was dead. You hear me? Dead, I tell you, dead.
And this I was armed, and
one thought disappeared into the next. This Anyways, I was armed to the teeth. Okay, buddy. This is my genuine reaction to watching this, by the way, too. It's just kind of silly.
Well, I just remember Gray saying he's a paranoid schizophrenic. We had that clip where he says it on Emma's show twice. I am a paranoid schizophrenic. But it's interesting. Watch these SWAT trains go all over the place. Go ahead, finish it up.
Yeah, he's constantly abandoning
lost.
his story.
Lost.
Okay.
And this I was armed and had body armor on, and yet I was crushed. My face was all ripped apart, and my knee was all ripped apart. And
looks like it.
Yeah. So guess what? There's pro wrestling has a place in my heart. Okay. But there was a character called Kane that wore a mask because his face was disfigured from a fire. And it turns out his face is fine. Okay. This guy here just said he had half his face ripped off. Where's the scars?
Where is it?
Where are the scars on this man's face?
Unbelievable. It looks like he had a cushy life.
What did he do? Have a cannabis oil tincture that took all the ailments away from his smooth, shiny face? I don't understand this, Tom. And I know people are going to be in the comments again being like, yeah, that's right. You don't understand, Steve.
No, it's all right. Looks like he grew up with milk baths. Go on.
That's my point. Exactly. Like there's no pink scarring or anything.
No.
And you had half your face ripped off.
Had body armor on, and yet I was crushed. My face was all ripped apart, and my knee was all ripped apart, and I was severely concussed, and I was totally.
I haven't heard a single story about how he was like bedridden at home with his leg in the cast, and his wife brought him a cup of tea. Like none of this stuff, Tom. That's what I'm saying. Like he's lying.
You can
He's
find a
straight up
hospital.
lying.
Where's the hospital report?
Yeah, and like before, is he in a place called so and so Springs or so and so Canyon? Because he said both of those things about where he lived.
This
All right,
this
we're
guy's
going to
just
continue on. You see
painful.
how
He's painful.
frustrating? It's only 5 minutes,
Go
but
ahead.
all of this is packed into this little clip,
Just
which
garbage.
is available on SGT.
Go ahead.
Out of it, and I just knew I had to get up, and I just cried out that the Father would help me to hear what Jubilee had to say to me, because I wanted to know what that child had to say. I knew I was going to have another child. I just wanted to hear what she had to say to me.
Oh,
Because I have a belief that somehow my children are going to help me heal, that they're worth it. They're free and they're worth it. But I just didn't want my wife to
what's
wake
the
up.
eyebrow flips?
He's totally lying right now.
What's
He's
this like
BS
eyebrow
artist to the
flips?
max.
Yeah. Watch his
Turned
eyebrows
up
go
to
like
11.
this. Go ahead.
Those
It's
lying
insane.
the lying eyes is what I
Oh,
call
I
this.
see it. I see it. Like I got away with it. Look.
He
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
said, my kids are my ace in the hole. And anybody that questions my story, I'm going to say about how much I love my kids.
That's
And
it.
it's a slap in the face to you because that's actually what you do.
I said I
This
keep
guy
going in
has
their
no
memory.
history behind him.
That's right. That's
This
right.
guy's like as old as me or younger. Like, it's
Go ahead. Play on. Play it on.
Phone call. And so I got up and immediately went and grabbed my pack to be able to put up a resistance. And when the next car that pulled over, it turned into this really fast scene where the woman came out with something in her hand to try to come over to me and put it into my body. And I stood up and ran towards my limousine to
Wait,
get
his
my
knees
pack
ripped
out of my
apart.
car.
How's he
to
running?
And two cars pulled over immediately as well. And when they got out of the vehicle, she ran back to her car and acted like she was injured and disoriented and everything else. Well, when the first responders began to show up, the chief of the fire department was among those people, and he began to interrogate the woman and began to try to figure out what had happened to her. Meanwhile, another woman showed up in a black Lincoln town car, and she flashed a badge that was part of the National Security Council. And she closed down the scene, took the woman out of her car, and put her in her car and shut down the entire thing. The chief of the fire marshal at the time took everything and got rid of all of the evidence and completely expunged the scene, and they made it disappear. That very night, my mother, who hasn't called me in years, called me to talk about my health and make sure that everything was going well. And every time they've had one of these assassination attempts on me, they have called as a wonderful, like, hey, just checking in and seeing how you are. My wife got that voice message on her phone that should have woken up to me dead. But you know what? The Father had mercy on me and spared my life, and he gave me deliverance that day. And you know what? I still have 5 hernias in my abdomen, and my spine is still crushed into a C right.
He just tried to say he had a herniated disc and he
Yes.
stopped himself.
Yep.
And then said he had a herniated abdomen. I caught that earlier.
5 hernias, and he has a C spine, messed up spine. I saw him at his event hopping up and down in the air, bouncing up and down vigorously to be adorable. Try to be adorable at his meetup thing they have. So I don't see how his spine was injured if he's going up and down like a Zulu dancer.
Yeah.
What a liar. Go ahead.
2 minutes left.
What a oh my God.
Woken up to me dead. But you know what? The Father had mercy on me and spared my life, and he gave me deliverance that day.
Watching
And you know
the
what?
eyes.
I still have 5 hernias in my abdomen, and my spine is still crushed into a C right now. And
his spine is crushed into a C.
But he can jump. But he can jump up and down easily at his events.
Do you see how his spine is crushed into a C?
Doesn't look like he's in pain at all. Looks like he's comfortable
Is
as
he
anything.
sitting at the computer like this?
He's done a whole thing here without any show of discomfort. His eyes just look like so plastic. Go on.
Yeah, no, in the middle of a show, going like, oh, sorry.
Nothing.
That was one of my.
Even as performance, you learned how to embrace, like, emulate the pain, show the pain, and how you react to the pain. You know how you nurse an area that's hurt. You know, like this. You don't and you will keep
I mean, I
nursing
can
it.
just move around in my seat like this and probably throw out my back. Like,
Yeah.
what is
But
this?
go on.
If this guy has 5 herniated
5
abdomens or
hernias.
whatever he's claiming now, like, okay.
Backed me up horribly, and it took me out for a long time. But you know what? It instilled in me a desire to keep going, because the enemy
did
never
it?
wastes his assets. The enemy doesn't shoot
Oh.
he doesn't waste a single bullet. Most people are
Oh.
just
I believe that's him admitting his mission. The enemy does not waste a single bullet. He's giving a warning for everybody he's going to try to steamroll over. I see
That's
this
right.
as a
It's a
very
threat.
dangerous individual in terms of the misuse of power that he will wield in the future. And I'm calling it out now because he's not that big of a dude, but he has the potential to be a great deceiver
Yes.
of the masses. And if he really is lying here, like if our bullshit detectors are correct, like,
Well, remember that?
oh,
Remember that
this is
comment?
not a good person.
Remember the comment I have that says "right hand of God." I am the right hand of God.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's
screenshot
scary.
too.
That usually means, and you mix it with the other guy saying paranoid schizophrenic. We got a very dangerous situation where this guy actually needs to be mentally evaluated.
We got a little more than a minute left.
Go ahead, play it through.
living in the trenches, and they're happy to stay asleep in their spiritual seductive slumber, in their fluoride haze. They don't want to know this stuff. They don't want to fight. They just want to stay down. And you know what? They're never going to get shot at. They're never going to experience what this war is actually like, because they're cowards hiding behind those comfortable lines. But you know what? As soon as you stand up and start to put up a resistance, as soon as you start to light up those fires, trying to tell people hope is over here, that you can resist, that you can fight back, you know what? You get targeted.
And then he'll snatch them up and gain subscribers and then take all their money and then move on.
What has he told us that hope is over here? Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
Part of that is the cost that we all have to count the costs at the end of the day. And you know what? I've counted that cost, and it's worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth screwing over Tom and the whole community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and getting Emma to pay attention to you and lift you up as some superstar.
Anything for a quick buck. Hey,
yeah.
Mind if I pick up that penny you dropped?
My life will live on no matter if I'm alive or dead. And if I become a martyr in this game, so be it. But you know what? It's well worth it for people to see that there is always men of conviction who are willing to stand up.
I'm going to call this out right now. If this dude ends up disappearing, I'm not going to believe it, because he just called it again. They're not supposed to spell out everything all at once, but he's doing it right here in a way. If his whole charade ends up being too difficult for him to go on camera here and explain himself, then he can easily just, he was murdered.
Yeah.
The assassin got what was coming to him or something.
Yeah, because I was so important.
This guy he claims to have murdered people. That's very serious. Okay.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. If he's claiming it, and he's not, and the contacts are telling me from the agencies that wasn't part of the agencies, then he's a wannabe, and a wannabe that wants to be dangerous. He wants to be dangerous, and that means that he needs to be evaluated. But go ahead, keep playing.
Not Christopher Reeves in that suit, or what do you want to say? It's not. These actors aren't these characters that they play, but they desperately wish. But I don't think Christopher Reeves wished to be Superman. But they want to play that game. Like, they just want to wear all of these masks. Was that it? No, that can't be it. Okay, last 40 seconds.
Well, I want to quote you from part 1 for those who didn't see part 1. I'll try to remember to link it below. Go back and watch part 1. But you said, "You're always asleep." For those who don't want to hear this truth, right? For those that say, "Leave me alone. I just want to go back to sleep," like that character in The Matrix who just wanted to eat a big juicy steak. Put me back to sleep.
He didn't like it.
Look at Nathan's face when the Matrix is mentioned.
He didn't like it.
This is a very telling clip right here, ladies and gentlemen. I think Nathan was assigned to take on this whole thing with Tom and disrupt Tom's progress.
And there's money involved in rewards. He's like Sophia Stewart 2.0.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the next Sophia Stewart.
Watch this guy's face when Sean the host of this SGT report says the Matrix. Just watch Nathan's face because it's very telling.
That character in the Matrix who just wanted to eat a big juicy steak, put me back to sleep. You're already
Just squints like, why are you telling me this?
Why are you talking about that?
asleep
Yeah.
and you're basically dead. You're walking dead every day that you continue to ignore the radical, intelligent evil that's stalking all around you. That's the message we're going to leave with this audience today.
What was he saying?
He
You don't have to
like
repeat
left
it.
them with
Just
a quote. Like, yeah, if you don't listen to the enemies spelling out their crimes, then you're gonna be in for a hell of a ride. It's a lot of
Anyway.
double speak. I think
Anyway,
it's a lot.
let's go to
Can't
questions
tell.
because that, yeah.
Sorry
Anyway,
about
that was painful. That was
I could
painful.
tell it was painful, and I'm sorry, Tom.
God help us.
You through that.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's 115 feet, 35 yards. He's passed out. He's not passed out. He's totally coherent. He's not coherent. He's on the edge of a cliff. He's not on the edge of a cliff. He's crumbled up this car. He's not. Yeah, God. If you're hit by 70 miles an hour, you're dead. If you're hit by a car at 70 miles an hour, you're dead. I don't care when he throws in extra at the end there, trying to embellish it with body armor. You're dead.
Yeah, that it really felt like embellishment of
And he says ripped up, torn up, everything else. Anyway, let's take questions because I'm just, oh God.
Yeah, so that was thank you, Tom, for going through that. This has been a very heavy issue the past month, and I think Tom and I have handled it very professionally. We just broke down a very public clip of an individual here that has we suspect he's harassing Tom through other channels. So and now it's expanding into other it's becoming something that's not cool. Okay.
Right. Especially
the community shouldn't be attacking each other, whatever community you're in. But yeah,
it's a self-promotion thing, all self-promotion, all going for reward, all just, and then I want to point out too, hosts that enable these guys, that enable them and call them Ubermensch and stuff like that, when they've been contacted by multiple people saying they've been harassed by this guy and these kind of guys that she's promoting, shame on Emma. Shame on those that do that, especially when we're offering peace the entire time. Don't strike content. Don't lift up people that are causing pain and obviously are frauds. Don't do it. Just don't do it. But go ahead.
Misty May said, I also thought of the Gray faction. Yeah, similar things. I think
I see the red pill one. About. Yeah, go ahead. Raise the question. So we have one about Tom. Can you
why
explain?
Why did Emma strike? Yeah, I'll start.
Oh, let's address that right there.
Yeah.
She struck it because she was approached. She was approached after we did a show where we talked about, I laid it out about the Sophia Stewart letter between Kate Shilton and Sophia Stewart, where it was offered 5 to 7 million if I would be brought down. It was discussed in detail. Emma gets approached, and next thing you know, she's turned completely. It's like she strikes the evidence of that conversation, and she's going for the 5 to 7 million, along with the book promoting, along with Nathan and this guy Gray. So basically, she struck the content to be mean, and that was a way to get at me. But actually, it hurts those that the content would be helping, including the memory of my children, the sons. So now the claim is she struck it after I told people not to follow her. No. And that's what Stephen's backed up here with timestamps and everything, is that I only decided to ask people not to follow after Emma told me to have people follow that knew me. I put it out there, have everybody contact her, follow her, and then she struck the content.
Yeah, timeline.
If there's no content, there's no reason to have people follow. If I'm not on there, why have my followers follow her? If I'm not on there, right? Especially with this guy Gray, who was abusing people. So if he's abusing people and she knew about it, allowed it to happen, I'm not going to send innocent women and others her way to follow to be abused by Gray. And so that's why.
Gray is an anonymous, faceless individual whom I showed here. You tell me.
That's incredible.
You tell me with that hand gesture.
That's his way of expressing himself.
That's the same dude to me.
It is. Well, that's the voice I heard. The voice you played
But
is the
what
voice
do
I
I
heard.
know?
Yeah. But go to the next question. Let's run through these questions.
Yeah.
So there's one about the pills. Oh, can you explain?
How many
Oh,
animes have ripped you off? Well, you
well,
don't
that's the
watch
interesting. It's a
animes.
great question. What you have here is I don't know the exact count, but here's the deal. University of Berkeley, where the attorneys that threw our case came out of. University of Berkeley is the one that really started Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is picked up by Warner Bros. And Sony, among others, right? So they cash into the anime market very, very well. Now, mangas are established before they do the animes, right? But these guys are tagging things on. And so what happens is you have the Immortals actually being used, they got through Discovery, in manga, or added to mangas, such as Darling in the Franxx and others like that. And so what you have is like the in our screenplay, in this one, you have the Trinity character pulling Neo through the liquid mirrors security device at the train station because he's cut from the program. So she pulls him with him, and a piece of his clothing gets cut off when the gate reforms, the clear mirror reforms. In Darling in the Franxx, you have that very scene. On and on, they're putting it in the anime now as another way of laundering the ideas as they use up the rest of the story. It's a great question. All right, next, there's the one about the blue pill, red pill,
Yes.
or that is. Good, okay.
Hold on,
All
hold
right,
on,
there
hold
it is
on.
right
So
there.
we
It's
got
you're
the
on it. Oh, go ahead.
okay, books. Can you explain what you mean by children and the red blood or the red pills?
Right. So what's interesting is there's been a counter move by Sophia Stewart on this one. On her site, she's now saying, after I brought it forward, that the red pill is based on the blood of the children and is the good pill, while the blue is bad. That's her counter. Makes no sense. It's a silly thing to say. What she's countering is that I'm coming forward now showing that the red pill was actually the pill that was the bad pill that Smith offered Neo, if you will, to enter the program. Neo's told he has to enter the program. He doesn't have a choice. He's offered the red pill during the interrogation scene. They got that part right. But he's not offered both pills. He's offered the red pill only. Later, he's cut from the program, ends up in Underground with Morpheus' character. The Morpheus character offers him a blue pill, which is a bootleg pill, the red pill, to re-enter the program and take on Smith. Makes sense. He wasn't offered this. He was offered this by Smith, the red pill. You take it or your family dies, you and your family. And then later, Morpheus offers the blue pill after he's cut from the program to get him back in the program to be a fighter there. All right, makes sense? What they did was they did Alice in Wonderland as they made it up on set and did the eat me, drink me with Morpheus offering, which makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. That's why that is. So the red pill in the original work is based on the blood of the children to come up with an immortal program that you can enter and have immortality. That's the red pill. Makes sense? It's based off the blood of the children, growth hormones. The blue pill is not based off the blood of the children. It is the blue pill. Now, why is it pills and not shots? Because the author didn't like shots. When I'm writing it and coming up with all this stuff and it's flowing, I didn't like shots, so I made it pills. Regularly, it would have been an injection. Anyway, I hope that answers the question. Next question.
Excellent. Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, make a message if it's not answered enough. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you need clarification, follow up with another question in the chat and we'll try to answer it.
Please.
So Big Island Beach says they're gonna watch the show once it's over later.
Okay.
So excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
We're not gonna hold back.
Well,
thank you for
AM
that.
said to Donna H, common tactics.
This is the playbook. This is the playbook of the cabal. What the agencies do is they get lower, they call them D players, lower failed people, usually failed, that want to be famous and popular and market their stuff, and they'll employ them as D players, they call them in the industry, D players, to bring down threats that might come off with real information that actually have created creative content that could influence. And so they're the ones assigned to bring down the top people, and they are loyal to do it. The only problem, the caveat, the problem is they often brag about the rewards they're getting from the agencies. All the time they do that. So that's the drawback from drawing from failed people. Sophia Stewart, failed player. Wachowski's failed player. Emma, failed player. Nathan Reynolds, failed player. These guys need to have their moment in the sun and be famous, and they accept they're flattered when the agencies approach. And I got email and text and emails from people who haven't been approached, even bragging to me they were approached. Anyway, Next question.
Let's pray for Misty May's safety.
What's the Tim thing? He wasn't even. Wait, go back up. I want to make sure.
Yeah, Tim saying Nathan wasn't even trying to be slick about
No,
what
he
he was
wasn't.
talking about.
Yeah, when you blank out in the middle of your talk and you're trying and you go a wholly different direction, your credibility is out the window.
If
Oh,
I
great.
was hosting a show with this Nathan guy and he started doing that,
Bring him back to the point. You would bring him back to the
yeah,
point, probably. Go like,
yeah,
okay,
I'd
let's go
try
back to
get
where you
him to
said
talk
this.
about what, yeah, like, hey, can you
The
get
woman
back
stepped
to
out
what
of the
you're
car,
saying?
completely congruent. And what happened next, Nathan? Yeah, go ahead.
How's the
There's a good one.
documentary coming along?
The documentary, same tactics were applied at the same time. Remember when, great question, when the Sophia Stewart letter surfaced between Kate Chilton and Sophia Stewart? Kate Chilton, the exec who handled everything from Wachowski's brought on, Elon Musk brought in to take the tech, me being handled, was at my deposition, is the one that wrote the letter to Sophia Stewart. She's the one that then handled content control at Netflix, and when it was being laundered by the defendants there, and then became a judge at Superior Court. So if there was any appeals, it'd be addressed by her, shut down. When the Kate Chilton letter surfaced where she was promising, Sophia Stewart was calling in her money from handling me from 2009 to 2014, actually spelling it out, that date period where she handled me, wanting her $5 to $7 million for handling me. Sophia Stewart Kate Chilton responded that she's not going to give him the money. They didn't need her anymore. Tom was destroyed. So with the court being thrown, at the time the court was being thrown. So Sophia Stewart posted on her site to make it look like she was given money by Warner Brothers to begin, have a large sum, $5 to $7 million.
Mm-hmm.
When it was pointed out, that's when Kate Chilton resigned and Sophia Stewart struck the letter. Now, here's the point about the documentary. The documentary team, the Q Group, with a guy named Marcus Cohen, who had planned to be a best friend, brother, all that stuff, 3 years spent on a documentary work. He's the one that showed the letter and then struck me, just like Emma did. So it was all chewing up time, all timely, that when this was revealed, he would then drop the ball. All that work wasted. Now, members are coming forward, and Steve and I are working on this stuff. We will have a documentary. Others are coming up with their own documentary of this work now, as word's been out. So it's kind of a divine justice going on of great people stepping up.
And this also follows into the next question about whether we're archiving all the shows that you appear on.
That's yours, Stephen.
Yeah, so we're working on it. They're not all archived. Everything that we've done here, it's all archived. Stuff that I started watching of Tom before I even contacted Tom, I have those video files. I've downloaded a lot off of YouTube that is no longer on YouTube. So there's probably some good. The main thing with like Tom's interviews is you could watch any of them and get something new out of it. And I've said this about our own shows too. But yeah, we have a fairly decent archive of Tom talking from I think as early as 2021 to now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's before I even started interviewing Tom here on this channel.
We also have people stepping up that have archived it on their own, bringing them forward. That happened with Emma's shows. She struck them all to cover the evidence over when she went for the rewards, and others stepped up and had the content already copied as they were fans of the work, as they say.
Yeah,
so that's what's
nice
really
surprise.
amazing. Yeah. Now, also, I want to point out something as we take a moment between the questions. Look at how I appear right now. I don't look like I'm very polished. I look like I'm almost frantic. When you go through these things, it matters to you. You're passionate about it. And it doesn't come across very easy, polished, that kind of thing. When you watch what Nathan presents himself, you're going to see a very plastic presentation because nothing's at stake for him. He's going to make up whatever he wants. But when we're talking and you have children that were killed and things like that, it matters something. You're going to see a lot in the eyes. Now, they'll say, oh, he's crazy. Tom's crazy. And others like me, pointing out here. Yeah, they'll say you're crazy. But we're not crazy. We're passionate about what happened. And it matters to us. Watch these other guys. It does not matter to them. Go
ahead. There's a few things I want to say here.
Is there another question, or you got something?
Yeah, there's like a second question mixed in with this, but it goes off of what you were just talking about. the interviews you did with these other hosts, you enjoyed them. You want them to be out there, right? Like it's
You want
it's
to
not
help.
like you, yeah.
You're doing it so you can do good and help others and have a community form. The goal of the Matrix, the whole code, if you will, the code in the actual original Matrix story, The Immortals, which is copyright the Immortals title, is to bring the world together, to solve world problems. If that's the goal of the author, that goal is not going to go away. It's going to remain.
Yeah, and
Still, I
you
want to
know,
see good happen from the interviews.
I'll
That's why they're important. Go ahead.
I'll give Emma the benefit of the doubt that when she started off interviewing Tom, even up to a few months ago, I'll give the cutoff is May, okay, of this year, 2023. Her interviews with Tom are quality. They have great content in it. Tom reveals a lot of stuff just through her interviews. But Tom's been on a lot of shows, but not all of them stay up, and that's a problem. It's a continual problem.
It's the
It's
playbook.
something, yeah.
It's the playbook. They want everything erased, and once every interview is erased, then I'm supposed to end up dead with Aiden.
And
That's
a
the plan.
very common tactic too is to try to discredit you by saying that it's been removed. Like, oh, they removed it. I guess that means they were lying, or they're guilty, or they're ashamed, and they want it all disappeared. No, most of the time this content is pulled off of these platforms because little groups of people, like six of
Right.
them, go and
Are
report one
contacting.
video,
Mm-hmm.
and then YouTube's like, oh, okay, I guess it's the majority, even though they have hundreds of millions of subscribers and non-account users on their platform. They're
Well,
like,
it's
oh, these
interesting.
six
Yeah.
reports, that's too much. It becomes a corporate thing where if they leave the thing on, then there's going to be some other faction group that wants to sue them, and then that's when you get a $5 check in the mail from YouTube being like, we spied on when you went out to eat for lunch that one day at so and so place.
They have a
Facebook's been doing that for the past few years, giving payoff checks to
they
these
have a
lawsuits.
playbook thing of forming groups. There's groups. There's one called Immortal Remnant. So they form groups to harass. They're supposed to contact any host you've been with to get them to remove contact. That's their job. And they brag about the FBI having installed them to do it. And that's what I have over and over again. And many, many examples of it, even texts from the FBI, or they're talking about the FBI contacting them, usually on the birthday or things like that of my son. So what you have is this has been an ongoing thing. And if you look at the approach they use, like what Emma used recently, what I learned was she contacted a host I'd done a show with, and she came on and said this. Basically, it was this. She said, thank you for not removing my content. Tom's harassing me. He's going after me and harming me. And then she goes on to want the content removed that I'm on with their program. So it's like this whole thing. It's the approach they use, and then they'll use the excuse, well, he told people not to follow me. That's why I struck the content. This lie thing. It's like a cancer where all these people start lying in order to get the returns. So was that all the questions?
Yeah, we had Solano. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing. He said Tom talked about Tim Ballard and the Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
Where can we get a copy of those Lost Struck interviews? Is there a channel?
Oh my God, I wish that's what Emma was doing. That it's such a great question. She was applauding during it, and even did a short clip to put out about that because she said how important that was. But then I didn't realize that this Nathan character and this Greg character were making the same claims of Sound of Freedom. So no wonder they wanted me removed.
Right here. This channel, VidNet, on BitChute.com. Just search this. You'll find the channel. It only has like 3 videos.
Can you save them? You saved these, right? Are these saved?
They're saved on BitChute. It's unlikely they'll be pulled immediately.
Can you get copies anyway, just in case? Because we're dealing with the big boys.
I have to get it long form.
All right. But that's my point. For anybody that's gone through this, what happens is you have the host applauding you, having you on again, and saying how she has future projects she wants to do with you, right? And you're being praised. Next, suddenly you're a liar. How can you go from 6 shows lauding the work, bringing it forward, applauding it, and then suddenly you're a liar when they haven't even talked to you, right? So that's the thing. That's the thing. Good job, though. All right.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that this channel's restoring deleted videos.
Good for them. Wow. That's the answer. That's an answer. The thing is, we were this close, documentary being completed, Kate Chilton revealed on the run, and the main attorney for Warner Brothers that worked with the one that had the suspended license that threw my case. She was, what you pointed out, was blanking out all our personal pages. They were all afraid we were going to flip the switch and win this in court. That's when they did this payoff to a host that heard that there was money to be made from the very guest on describing the horror of it, what happened to our children, my children, deciding to cash in while marketing a book over and over with a guy who was then enabled to do it. She doesn't want peace. I keep offering. I just did now before we got on the show. Not getting any responses at all. Because when you get approached, you're not supposed to respond. You're supposed to finish the job. Quote, finish the job. The job is me, in this case, along with other poor souls that have been gone down before me, that have truth that could influence the public. And what better influence is there than having proof of the blockbuster that changed the way we think of, look at our world? So I'm not saying that to be proud of myself. I'm saying that that's why I was targeted, because the evidence is too overwhelming. And it was Emma herself that said it was overwhelming and it couldn't be denied. Why?
And you know why it's
360 switch.
overwhelming, ladies and gentlemen? Because there's reasonable truth. Everything that Tom talks about has a paper trail.
Mm-hmm.
It can be
I've been
verified.
anal on it. I was considered anal on it. I've got so much evidence, including what was inserted in the first graphic, like in the interrogation scene. We didn't know that the fiance's birthday of mine, Otika Bernard now, was Neo's birthday. We didn't know that was there because the guy who contacted me from inside the story department told me about the high school and my birthday and my dad's name and all that. Didn't even know that either. So there was evidence stuff on top of stuff that even the insiders didn't know inserted, which means, yeah, they researched heavily. And it's just so I'm just hoping if I can finish this well, like Stephen, we do this, we finish it up well with those helping us that are doing it right now by being supportive, then hopefully we can help everybody who's been harmed. I said, I'm not for either side now. I'm not for either side of the truth movement.
Yeah, that's the goal.
I'm for the victims. I'm for the victims that were harmed. I'm for them. I'm for you who have been harassed. That's what I'm for.
We're not trying to profit off of saying all these movies are bad, don't go watch them.
No.
We're not. That's not our purpose here. We are firstly correcting the record that Tom has had his creative content, his intellectual property stolen and used without his permission.
Used up and ripped apart.
That is why we are here. I studied the films that ripped off Tom's work. I'd almost say I've spent my entire life studying those films. I went to school for it so that I'd be a master of creating films of my own. And when I hear these cross verifications from Tom, that I had the other part of the, like, I heard about the 20-foot rule with the Wachowskis. I never knew it was because they had a script they were stealing from, but it makes perfect sense to me.
So you don't see it.
And I went through the racket. They wanted me to go to LA. I was adamant to stay in Chicagoland area or in the Midwest if need be, because I mean, Illinois is not the best state to be in. I'm sorry to say. Tax wise, it's one of the worst, and for businesses, I don't think it's good right now either. But here I am in the Midwest, where everybody I went to school with, they were trained to go through that system and probably be used up the same way. I've shown the matchups from my short film. That's supposed to be my thesis, shot for shot from Breaking Bad, like 18 months later. Not much I can do about it, but it happened. I heard the buzzing on the set, and So when we have new people show up in this scene of also saying like, I used to kill people and I flew 105 feet from my car. Like, hold on a second. Just hold on. I'm not hearing names. I'm not hearing places. Like, what else is going on there? Did you have like a hole in your shoe or something? Like something. Give me something. Somebody was blowing up your phone with text messages. I don't hear any like intimate details from Nathan Reynolds, the
Yeah.
man who calls himself Nathan Reynolds.
Could you imagine him on the stand and a prosecutor with what his clip you showed? They wouldn't let him get away with just dropping it and going to his kids, thinking about his kids. They would have been, no, let's go back to this point. So you're saying that you were there and this lady came out of the car and she was looking at you and, well, you know, go on. They wouldn't let him get away with that.
It would be on full display too.
It'd be dissected. Yeah. And I'm surprised the SCT report let him get away with what he did multiple times. My message to Emma has been all along, let's have it peaceful. This could be solved with a conversation easily. But that's not what she's supposed to do according to being switched and turned. It's not going to happen according to the playbook. You're not allowed to. You're supposed to finish the job. But I kept saying,
if I had somebody show up or email me and say like, I'd like to be on your show, and then later on they're telling me, hey, you know, get rid of Tom and bring me on again more often than Tom, I tell them to get lost.
Right.
Because I mean, but this exact situation happened to another host, and that host said, okay, no more Tom. That's what it appears like to me.
And then flipped out on me. That's what's going on. It's like I have made them. I continue right now. I want to do it right now. I've been saying to Emma, make the peace. Don't enable these guys to do this stuff. If you have women contacting you and showing you all these messages where they harassed and threatened them, then take stock in that. Don't mislead people for overpraising these guys, whether you love them or not. Don't overpraise them. And it's like, I'm saying, let's make peace, restore the content. It's there to help people. It's not making my star brighter. It's just, it was hard work to help people. Just do that. And we can go our merry ways. Fine.
I really think like they're trying to discredit Tom and his name and story because he got a little snippy back with people that have been harassing him for over a month, which he's told them multiple times to cease and desist. Do not harass me. And they continue to harass him. They come up with new accounts to continue the harassing. It's like ... on one account and then ... continued on the next. Just wall text after wall text.
If the content had been struck later, after in the 30-day period, it was struck immediately. As soon as she was bought, it was struck. That very night at like 1 a.m, it was struck without me being talked to when I was offering to talk, without any contact telling me, just struck it. When you do that, that's maniacal. When you do that, that's bought. That's what happens. And then to try to get other people to drop content, thanking them, is just really bad. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm saying if she makes peace, great, we can do it. She's the enabler having these guys fighting for her. In fact, there was a guy that appeared on my page tagging me on that was saying, you know, Emma, I'm for you, Emma. I don't care. I'm going to champion. Like he wanted to go to bed with her or something. And it's like putting on my page how he's courting her. And she's like, thanks, Jack. It's like, stop being the middle focus. This woman in need with pounds of makeup on, need to be the center of attention, getting guys to fight your fights. Be a big girl. Stop enabling these guys and make peace and stop doing wrong and marketing and profiting off it, which Family Guy illustrated. So let's just end it. Let's not have it. Anyway, thanks, Stephen. Thanks.
I think that's a great note to leave today's show off of. Because we will be here next month, the first Saturday of the month at 11 a.m. Central. That seems to be working for being regulars. We had 21 consecutive viewers at one point, so I'm sure we've gone over the 100 views for the initial watching here. But we covered a lot today. There's a lot more to cover. I'll give a sneak peek to what we'll cover next time really quickly here. You see this? Do you see it yet?
No, I
You
do.
know, Keanu Reeves in a neck brace before The Matrix was being filmed.
Yeah.
The lead actor was put in. He had to have like life or death surgery on his neck to save his neck, and he's the lead in an action movie, and they didn't recast this guy. That's what I want to talk about next time.
Unbelievable. How unsafe it was.
I mean, we
Okay.
could
Thank you,
spend a
Stephen.
whole hour plus on that topic alone.
Right.
Like,
Well, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for those that tuned in. And like I said, we'll be hit hard with shadow banning now, but in the future, even the agencies are saying, even the studios are saying, it'll be household stuff. So this is archiving for the future and for future audiences to hear Prime Source and see the evidence. Thanks for doing it.
yeah, it's my pleasure, Tom. Like
right.
I've said every time you've been on here, you're more than welcome anytime you're here. And I'm looking forward to the next time. And we'll be here. The offers out there for the usual suspects. We got
Yeah.
Sophia Stewart.
Yeah.
We have Larry and Andy Wachowski.
And now Emma.
Elon, but he just went on Joe Rogan, so he probably thinks he's okay now. But yeah, if anybody wants to talk
or make peace,
make peace or make peace.
Do it. All right.
There's no point in waiting because I mean, we have things to do here, and we're going to continue doing them, whether people make peace or not. And like I said, this is about like Warner Brothers, these big studios.
That's
that
the story.
Were put in these positions to mess with Tom.
That's the story. That's a story with D players thrown in to throw us off. They're trying to throw us off track. It's the main story has been consistent. It really is the studios. So the Kate Chilton thing with Warner Brothers and Disney and the agencies, that's the main story.
And with as many people that are in the studio system, like it's not that far-fetched to say all of this is absolutely true. But like I said before, you need to do your own research. Look up the names that Tom mentions. Look up the years these people served in the positions that they were in. They match up pretty darn well with what Tom says.
And what you hear, in the industry, what you're going to hear is the phrase passed around is, yeah, Tom really got screwed. Yeah, he really got screwed. We have that on tape too. Yeah, he really got screwed. That's what's in the studios.
And I don't ever really see you like catching yourself in a lie, kind of like what Nathan's doing, where he just stops talking about something mid-sentence and then goes on to something else. So there were a few comments on that SGT report thing saying like, oh, this story needs to be a little more polished.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that about you, Tom, because you're telling the truth, in my opinion. So
I'm telling it for my sons too, and I said it a lot, and you'll hear it a lot, but that is actually it. That's what keeps me going. It's for their memory and for my last son to be alive, and that's why I buried the other screenplays that they were Disney saying they want to see, and they said you can't get rid of them. Anyway, so my battle is to keep my last son alive. I don't know what Nathan's battle's about. Maybe him being famous and loved by ladies. That's not mine. Mine's get the job done, see if we have a better world, and keep my son's memory honored. So yeah, thanks, Stephen.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Tom, I really think you're helping people every time you go on anybody's show.
Thank you.
Even if it's not up forever, like some of them are turning out to be. The people that did tune in and watch, they're here today. So you have people going from one account to another.
Yeah.
And they're following you. And I'm including myself in there and saying that I support you where you go. And I just want what's best for you. And I want peace for you and your family. And I think it's overdue for you because of everything that you've shared. Like we all need peace from this.
Yeah, that's what it is. All of us.
And I think it's due. I'm repeating myself. It's overdue.
It's all right. The evidence. I mean, we have evidence.
Not to be ungrateful, but I mean, yeah, we go through our tribulations and to help us grow. But we need to also have be rewarded for our
absolutely. After they struck, thank you, Stephen. After they struck all my different scripts for the attorneys, these showed up in the Maui warehouse. and all these originals with documentation and notes on them, all these original drafts, and they have no drafts.
I just love to dive right into all of it and
Yeah,
read that.
which shows what the Matrix meant before they tore it apart just by lifting images. But I'm glad you understand the 20-foot rule and all those other things. It's great having these discoveries, and when we put the pieces together, we can see exactly what was there. And someday we'll get the experience of watching the original film the way it was supposed to be. All right, Stephen, thank you.
Yeah, I think we have a great team here, you and I doing this, and yeah, I do think that God wins. It says so in the Bible.
Absolutely.
So even if you're feeling down, just remember that there is hope. So other than that, I do expect to see you next month, the first Saturday.
You'll see me. You'll see me.
And
I
Tom
won't,
and I will talk and catch up too, but before we go live. But
even if I'm hit and I'm tossed 35 yards and off a side of a cliff, and the woman comes out looking really, my daughter means a lot to me. Okay, anyway, I'll see you next time. All right. All right. Take care, Stephen.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You too, Tom.